It is a joy to begin a new series that will take us as well through the next 12 months or 11 months. It is our annual theme, our annual aim. And perhaps you're getting the drift of what I am doing. Last year we began with an annual theme or annual aim called A Sense of Faith. Yes, so as a teaching mechanism, it's very useful because you will never forget that phrase. And when you hear that word or that phrase, you remember our time together. And so today we introduce our new annual theme. It's not based on the new year, January 1, it's more of a school year theme called Summits of Hope. Now, perhaps you're also hearing here an indication of that beautiful phrase that says, from St. Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, but faith, hope, and love are the greatest, but among these, love exceeds them all. And that comes straight from the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So I thought as a triad together, faith, hope, and love, would be a wonderful way to begin our first 3 years together. And I hope to be able to finish that. That's a hope I have, to be able to finish 3 years of ministry, of getting to that point. And then we'll see if we can do another 3 years, and then another 3 years. And so it goes. Faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. So next year you have to stick around to see why love is so great. A sense of faith, summits of hope, and you can maybe intuit where we might be going when it comes to love. Now, what do we mean by summits? Summits is a symbol word. It's an analogy. It represents anything that inspires us. That'd be a basic way of putting it. That summits represent anything that inspires us, that it's off in the distance. It's higher above you. It's something you look to that inspires you and you wish to go there. You wish to be that. You wish to experience that. Summit of hope, fill in the blank. Marriage, relationship, wealth, health, happiness, graduation for your children, empty house, empty nest, I should say, grandchildren, on and on and on. All these things that human beings hope for is symbolized by that word summit, that we are aspiring to, that we hope to obtain in our experience in our lives. So next week we'll continue this introduction in terms of the hope that we have in time, the things that we hope to do in our lifetime, things that are time-bound, that we only have a certain amount of days given to us, and we wish to accomplish these things given the amount of time we've been given, or we think we have left to live. What are the things that you need to do with your time, the gift of a lifetime? Then we'll talk about the idea of places that you are inspired to go to see, to experience, places. So time and space or place. And then people, the people that you wish to know and experience, the people that you wish to relate with, the kind of people you wish to cultivate in your life and in your relationships. And these are very basic ways for us to apply this notion of what it is that we aspire to, that we're inspired by. Who inspires you? Who do you wish to be more like? So those are some hints of the weeks to come as we unfold this introduction to our theme this year. Summits of hope. Okay, what does that word hope mean? The children, man, he was spot on, Dustin and BB. That kid's brilliant. Just brilliant. And what I wish to be, what I hope to be, what I wish to be able to do. Hope is a very, very powerful word. So here's a couple thoughts from the scriptures that might help us unpack what this word hope might mean for us. So first of all, the word hope is found in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, but they're different words, obviously, in Hebrew and in Greek. But we'll start with the Greek. The Greek word is elpis. It's E-L-P-I-S. It doesn't sound very nice, especially the last part of the word, elpis. But I really hope to take up elpis. But the The word, there you got it. I think you got it. So the word starts with God's name, actually. El. El is the phonetic name for the Hebrew and Semitic God. Elohim, El Shaddai, and on and on and on. El is part of God's sacred name. Elpis. Elpis. It's a really powerful Greek word. And it's used about 83 times in the New Testament. And I just mentioned that because that's quite a few for one word to be used, actually. And you can compare how many times faith is used, which is probably double or triple that, and love as well, many more times than hope. But hope is a very important word. It does not mean that the future is uncertain. In the biblical context, the word hope doesn't mean that there's any uncertainty involved. This is where it differs from our modern use of the word hope, because our modern use of the word hope suggests that there's uncertainty and possibility that it couldn't happen. But the biblical concept of hope is grounded in this confident certainty. I shall live again. I will be raised from the dead. You are loved now, always, no matter what, even though you've been exiled, even though you're going through a difficult period. This idea of hope is grounded in total, confident certainty of expectation. Not necessarily in oneself's ability or skills, but the hope is certain because the hope is in God. Elohim, hope grounded in God. Hope beyond yourself, hope beyond this universe. And there is more than this universe, because the universe comes from God. What's beyond God? God is beyond God. And this fuses the whole universe and our little solar system and our little Milky Way galaxy with hope that we're not alone in a blank, dark, cold universe going nowhere for no reason. But there's hope. There's hope in every human heart. And there's hope on this planet. And there's hope in our solar system. And there's hope in our cosmos. It's beyond us. But if your hope is grounded in yourself, it isn't certain, because every human being's hope is flawed to a certain extent, in the sense that we're incomplete. We don't have the strength. We don't have the utmost wisdom. We don't have the fullness of perspective. We need hope that is grounded in something beyond ourselves, something that is bigger than ourselves. And those people on this planet who only have themselves and their skills and their gifts and their money and their bank accounts and their contact lists to hope in, quickly discover that even being the president of the world doesn't give you all that you hope for or desire. And how sad it is when any one of us feel that deep disappointment, that that which I've hoped for my whole life isn't enough. Because as St. Augustine has said, my heart is restless until it finds that hope's return in God, until it rests ultimately in the hope of God. That alone, friends, is the antidote for what we're longing for, what we're hoping for. And that hope is confident and certain. It's deeply related to its sister word, faith. Hope and faith go together. You cannot truly hope in a biblical way without faith, because it is completely grounded in that confidence that God exists and that you come from God, that we all come from God, and that we're not here alone, empty, or purposeless. But there's a deep reason to hope that the world is going someplace, that we're a part of it, and that we are required to activate in hope and not be hopeless. Hopelessness is easy for any human being to do. It takes no effort to be hopeless. It's called cynicism, and it ends up being very sarcastic most of the time and bitter. It's a sour taste in the mouth. There are many, many people I have met on this planet who are hopeless because they haven't been given the love or the needs or the basic things to support them. And at the same time, I've met people who have nothing and that are so full of hope and joy and love, and you figure, where does this hope come from? You have nothing. You have no rational basis to be hopeful, but you're more joyful and hopeful than I've ever known anyone to be, because they're grounded in a hope that comes beyond themselves. Perhaps you've seen that too. Interestingly, now moving from elpis, which is the Greek word for hope, just very briefly, the Old Testament word for hope, there's two of them, but I only want to talk about the main one. It's called tikva in Hebrew. And this word for hope in the Hebrew Bible is really interesting because its root meaning is a cord or a rope that binds you and gives you assurance. And anyone who knows anything about rock climbing knows that when that rope is connected, you are given a greater assurance or confidence that you're not going to fall. But still, it's quite scary until you do fall and trust the rope and it catches you and it holds. But the rope or the cord that binds or holds things together gives you that sense that God's got you. I've got you. You can hope in me because I've got you. I'm worthy of your trust. I've got you. You cannot explain your difficulty now. You cannot understand it. You cannot find the chess move out of this situation right now. But I've got you. Have hope. Checkmate is going to be avoided. I will help you. I've got you. You will not fall. I've got you. That's the hope of the Hebrew people. I've got you. Yes, 9 million of you will be killed in the Holocaust. I've got you. Unbelievable inability to believe that God was anywhere near any of that. And yet so many people discovered God beyond God in the Holocaust, that they somehow mysteriously were held by an everlasting cord of faithfulness, even in the worst of humankind, as it manifested toward them. And that's a beautiful illustration of how people have a choice to remain hopeful in the midst of the worst of things. And we don't know what's coming in our culture or our world. We assume things keep getting better. But hope might be one of the most important things we have in our world context today. Never before has there been 7.5 billion people on this planet at the same time, interconnected through text and cell phone and internet instantly. We instantly know what's going around the world, all around the world. That's a new phenomenon, and it's a heavy weight upon us. We've never been in a situation like this before. And just to be able to say that is very freeing. We've never been like this before. It's never been this way before. If you feel freaked out, it's okay. It's never been this way before. If you feel lacking in hope, it's okay. It's never been like this before. We've never been here before. We literally are figuring it out as we go. And that requires faith and hope and love for us to ascend through all this and discover our future together. And so I hope for myself, I hope for us as a community, I hope for us as a country, I hope for us as a species, as a planet, and I hope for us as a solar system, and I hope for us as a cosmos, as a part of our Milky Way galaxy. I hope in big, big ways, because we're a small part of something bigger than we could ever imagine. And that, my friends, might be the most important practical thing I can encourage us all to do, as much as you possibly can do. Go outside on these beautiful clear nights, these beautiful high-pressure nights, high-pressure systems where it's just complete, no moisture, and look up at the heavens. It might be intimidating at first or give you the sense of vast coldness, but look up, keep looking, and know that you're not the only one looking. Something is knowing you and looking at you too. That we are part of something so living and vast. And if that doesn't give a hint of hope, if looking up at the stars doesn't give a hint of hope, very little else will in this world. We come from God and we're part of God. This is a part of an incredible opportunity to grow, an experiment really. We're all planted here on this planet as an experiment. Who will we become? Who will we choose to be? How will we grow and develop? The very best things still await us. The very best things still await us. We're just on the very filament of an edge of growth. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, human beings didn't have electricity. But just 100 years ago, electricity was starting in this valley. Just 100 years ago, most people didn't have electricity. Just 50 years ago, most people didn't have a telephone. And now we have 10 telephones that aren't even connected to the wall. Just think about it. 100 years ago, infant mortality rate was very high, like something like 60% or 55%. Most of infants, Today, we've got that almost to 99%. Same with mothers giving birth. 100 years ago, very high rate of difficulties during pregnancy and birth. Today, technology has cured most of those problems. It's extraordinary. Antibiotics, internet, amazing healthcare systems. And you can go on and on and on. Things are improving. We just have to be looking in the right direction to see it and praise God for it. And remember, we are the luckiest people on this planet that have ever lived in human history. We are the most blessed people who have ever lived in human history. Just think about that. And that can inspire hope. If that's the case today, think about 5,000 years from now. What could be possible? And we're, friends, the bridge from there to there. Let's be a good, hopeful bridge for the future. You've heard what I've had to say. Let's take a moment in the silent and let the Spirit complete it for you. Fill our hearts with hope, especially when they feel hopeless. Be our strength as we journey to the summits that call to us each. Amen.